Okay, my talk is on holistic psychosomatic nature of bioenergy correction, which was also communicated a few years ago in Zagreb, but on Sebocrat in 2019. And also it was prepared for meeting in Slovenia, in Maribor, in 2020, but it was postponed. So we can say that now it's only available in English as by communication in this Congress, Global Congress. So I'll talk about it now. Here on the first slide, I put also the motto of Bruno Gröning, great German healer. I live that humanity could still live. Very important motto, and Bruno Gröning was very important healer in 1980s in Germany. In my next slide, it is something written on bioenergy correction as ancient way of correction of flow of vital energy, known in main tradition for millennia, which endured test of time to present day with some modern modifications. On the expansion of integrative medicine since mid-1990s in China, US, and Europe, some bioenergy correction techniques were subjected to scientific research and included in local medical curricula. Our biophysical studies of consciousness and psychosomatics also point to the real nature of holistic experiences of traditions of East and West, implying that quantum-holographic fractal parts carry information on holiness, like Hindu relationship Brahman-Atman, enabling subtle quantum-holographic coupling of hierarchical levels in nature. This is indicated by acupuncture system and its projection zones, by discovery of quantum-holographic influence on genome expression, by transpersonal origin of incredible creativities of Tesla and Mozart's case studies, and predestined life paths and temptations suggested by experiences from hypnoregressions and tribal traditions and traditions of East and West, emphasizing that they can nevertheless be optimized by spiritual purification, which is very important. So we have free will. These traditional concepts also supported by holographic principle that each tridimensional physical system is isomorphic to holographic information imprinted in its two-dimensional surface, imply that quantum content of three-dimensional body could be holographically contained in body's two-dimensional surface layer. In line with our quantum holographic quantum gravity theoretical framework of consciousness and psychosomatics, and suppose close relationship of acupuncture system and consciousness, which is supported by meridian psychoenergy therapy. Biophysical research of integrative medicine and transpersonal psychology is of special importance due to widespread usage in developed countries. As contemporary investigations of stress-induced psychosomatic diseases suggest necessity of holistic methods focusing on the acupuncture system and consciousness, oriented to treating man as a whole, suggesting that macroscopic quantum origin with significant global implications. So it may be said that there are three front lines of psychosomatic quantum holographic integrative medicine, which is very important. The first one, spirituality and circular psychoenergy therapies from all relevant meta positions with permanent removal of mutual quantum memory attractors or states on the level of collective consciousness due to energy information disentanglement of mental addresses of all persons involved in the problem. The second, quantum holistic medicine and non-circular psychoenergy therapy, which temporarily remove memory attractors on the level of acupuncture system and individual consciousness and prevent or eliminate their somatization as a result of deficiencies on the first front line. And third, the symptomatic conventional medicine, which via immunology, pharmacology, biomedical diagnostics, and surgery on somatic level prevents or alleviates consequences of carelessness on the first two front lines. It should be particularly noted that necessary activities in the second and third front lines with neglect of the first one would result in further transfer of memory attractors on the level of individual and collective consciousness in this and future generations, thus accumulated quantum holographic non-local loads and cause then not only disease but also interpersonal conflicts, war, and other suffering. So this level is, collective level is quite important. Further on, three aspects of the acupuncture system, consciousness and vital energy, should be pointed out. The first one is quasi-classical ionic aspect of the acupuncture system, suggested by research of the non-threshold gap junction electrical synapses, which have shown an order of magnitude increase in concentration at the acupuncture points that is consistent with the much lower electrical resistance of the acupuncture points compared to the surrounding tissue, as well as significantly higher absorption of the ions in these points. The second one, quantum-informational and informative aspect of the acupuncture system, indicated by quantum coherent characteristics of Russian-Ukrainian school of microwave resonance therapy, and discovery that any quantum system has formal mathematical structure of hoping quantum holographic associative neural network. It is also pointed out that the quantum system is at least psychosomatically related to consciousness and supported by very effective meridian psychoenergy therapies with successive setting new boundary conditions in the acupuncture system during emotionally involved visualization of psychosomatic problems. And third one, transpersonal exotic aspect of energy informational communication, known in all traditions, and now widely used in transpersonal energy therapy, such as Qigong, Reiki, pranic healing, to establish and stabilize energy informational channels of vital energy. Qi, Ki, Prana, pointing to a deeper exotic space-time nature of these channels of vital energy, by this connection with exotic quantum vacuum fluctuations necessary for anti-gravitational stabilization of these space-time channels. So it seems that joint research on the crossroads of psychosomatic integrative medicine and quantum informatics may become fruitful in spreading frontiers of the existing scientific paradigm. Here I will present several books, front pages, on alternative medicine, which goes mainstream, on quantum healing, exploring the frontiers of mind-body medicine, famous book by Deepak Chopra, famous book of transpersonal psychology edited by Charles Tarr. Also, very nice book, The Intention Experiment by Lynn McTaggart, Using Your Thoughts to Change Your Life and the World. I recommend it too. This is the logo of the Center for Consciousness Studies of the University of Arizona, which has organized conferences on consciousness from 1995 up to date. And this is our book from 1995 on consciousness, scientific challenge of the 21st century, which is able to find on our website. I also recommend it. And this is the slide of consortium of academic health centers for integrative medicine in the United States, with 64 members in 2010, which now grows to level over 70 in the United States. It shows that integrative medicine became very important in the United States. Also, this is a very nice book by Michael Talbot, The Holographic Universe, with extremely interesting writings on holographic paradigm, and also altered states of consciousness, many of them. And also, this is the book of by Ken Wilber, The Atman Project. It is a famous book from 1970s or something. A transpersonal view of human development, which make very important move towards consciousness in Western tradition. It is actually based on his exploration of Hinduistic tradition. And he made actually a coin of consciousness spectrum. He's very well known in the 1960s in the United States. Also, I recommend very interesting book on holographic universe, Black Holes, Information and String Theory Evolution, by Leonard Susskind, famous professor from the United States. And also this front page of Scientific American, motivated by this and others book, Are You a Hologram? Everything is hologram in this universe, it seems, from new research. Also, I recommend my book, Integrative Biophysics, Quantum Medicine, and Quantum-holographic Informatics, Psychosomatic Cognitive Implications, which can be also found on my website. And here is a slide on basics of Hopper's neural network. This is classical type of neural network, with all these neurons maturely interconnected with connections. This model was proposed by Hopfield in the 1980s. This is mathematical part of this model. And this is energy function, which is optimized and presented in respect with interconnections within Hopper neural network, with all these minima, which are actually called attractors in his model. After that, Perush from Slovenia found quantum analogies of these classical ones, where neural activities were replaced by quantum wave functions, And also memory, holographic memory of open memory is replaced by quantum holographic propagator. And because of this phase, actually it is quantum holographic memory. It is memory effect. And hereby is a three-dimensional model of gap, so-called gap junction channels based on X-ray diffraction studies, which are the oldest channels, intercellular channels in biological evolution. They are abundant within acupuncture points and acupuncture channels, which is important for acupuncture system and system understanding. Here is actually display of traditional Chinese representation of circulation of qi within human body, and hours of maximum activity of organs known in Chinese tradition. And this is a picture from Indian tradition, which represents ancient Indian concept of the left hand side of the body as a female Shakti, and the right hand side of the body as a male Shiva, through the representation of the Hinduistic deity Ardhanarishvara. And on this slide, I presented actually my research related to Tesla's inspired holistic ideas on creativity and education, and on health and spirituality, related to quantum correlation or quantum entanglement between individual and collective consciousness. Collective consciousness is represented by this wave function. Individual consciousness is related by this one. So when quantum entanglement in their interaction, they are represented with this summation, which is actually quantum entanglement of these quantum states of collective and individual consciousness, which can be reduced, classically reduced on only one part from this summation, both in creativity and education part, and in the health and spirituality part. But there is important difference. This one is related to Tesla's actually findings. When he mentally controlled his thoughts towards solution of some important problems, actually all his problems and solutions were obtained by his meditation practice, creativity practice. So he was focused intensely to his question for some problem. This thus enlarging only one part related to this problem, only one part, say just one, and diminishing all the others. So he got this classically reduced information related to the solution of the problem, even from the level of collective consciousness. Actually, he saw all this he was seeking for in collective consciousness by this his method of intense focusing in meditation states. It was a part of his creativity. and this second aspect of these holistic ideas is related to symbolic representation of mentally controlled systemic decreasing of macro-quantum correlations in interacting individual consciousness and collective consciousness environment. In transpersonal disentangled spiritual faith. So when we try to remove all these memory attractors related to some illness, essentially we are decreasing this by any of holistic methods we use. This way we also remove all these side memory attractors, ending up with only one memory attractor, this one, which cannot be removed at all. And this is related essentially with mental address on the founder of our religious tradition. So this is the reason why in spiritual practices, all mystics are concentrated on removing all mental addresses, all but one, which is related to founder of their spiritual tradition. This is very important for them because after that, this is the only mental address which is forcing us, our spirit, to meet the founder of our spiritual tradition, which is known from experiences in all traditions. And this way it can be explained. It should be noted that transpersonally extended esoteric concepts of spirituality, spiritual traditions of East and West, could be biophysically accounted within our plausibly extended quantum-holographic theoretic framework. Astral body, known in all traditions as Mano Maya, Linga Sarira, Mano Vijnana, Ka, Psyche, Nefesh, Nafs, subtle body, psychic body, soul, versus ionic component within our model of electromagnetic, ionic, exotic, macro-quantum acupuncture system displaceable out of body, connected with body by miniature wormhole space-time tunnel, generated in highly non-inertial transitional states of consciousness, as reported in extrasensory near-death experiences. The next is mental body, known as Vijnana Maya, Sukshma Sarira, Manas, Ba, Timos, Ruach, noetic body, spiritual body, mind, related to electromagnetic components within our model of electromagnetic, ionic, exotic, macro-quantum acupuncture system displaceable out of body, embedded within ionic component of the acupuncture system. Third, distributed centers of consciousness, chakras, acupuncture points, sephiroths, holy discs, known in different traditions, versus electromagnetic ionic condensates within our model of electromagnetic, ionic, exotic, macro-quantum acupuncture system displaceable out of body. And fourth, vital energy of chi, ki, prana, akasha, mana, ka, pneuma, ether, natura medica, anima mundi, vesud, baraka, uncreated light, Holy Spirit, Hellstrom, innate intelligence, bioenergy, biofield, and different traditions, related to electromagnetic, ionic, exotic condensates within our model, detectable within electromagnetic, ionic, exotic, macro-quantum acupuncture channel displaceable out of body, and non-detectable outside them, with possible generalization from electromagnetic field to unified field, in light with broader traditional meaning of vital energy, is all pervasive cosmic quintessence. It should be noted that transpersonal phenomena are practically incorporated psychosomatic energy correction, and that their physical explanation should be sought at the very border of existing scientific paradigms. These are references to this. Within our quantum-holographic quantum gravitational framework of consciousness and psychosomatics, it is assumed they are of deeper quantum gravitational origin. According to Einstein's principle of equivalence of inertial and gravitational acceleration, in transitional states of consciousness, from high electric body to low electric out-of-body state, based on locally generated wormhole tunnels, quantum gravitation is stabilized by exotic matter, quantum vacuum fluctuations in strongly curved space-time of wormhole tunnels, with anti-gravitational effects, really observed in transitional psychokinetic manifestation of vital energy, with exotic aspects of spatial-temporal tunnels in vital energy extended to acupuncture channels of exotic vacuum-like reflective index, with transpersonal quantum entanglement inflow of vital energy. Here is note 1. Our theoretical framework also suggests physical basis for ad hoc von Neumann projection postulate on the micro-quantum scale to explain deeper nature of quantum mechanical clocks wave function via local quantum gravity-induced wormhole tunnels in equivalent strong gravity according to Einstein's physical experiments, high non-inertial quantum-like situation. Asked how it is possible that such highly non-inertial microparticle processes with inevitable opening of miniature wormhole tunnels were not considered within quantum mechanics, which is nevertheless extremely accurate theory, they appear to be implicitly within von Neumann's projection postulate in deeper quantum gravity. Note 2. Let us also add that Tesla's visions and inventions realized in his controlled altered states of consciousness have been suggested as manifestations of his meditative insights to macro-quantum correlations of individual collective consciousness with significant creative, educational, and psychosomatic spiritual implications, as we noted on the previous slide. One of them. On the one hand, they can provide guidance for a deeper understanding of our theoretical framework for holistic control, creativity, and education, based on mentally focused transpersonal increasing of macro-quantum correlations of individual and collective consciousness, as described in Patanjali Yoga Sutras as written Bara Pragya, when mind perceives things as they are. On the other hand, they can provide guidance for deeper understanding of our quantum-holographic theoretical framework for holistic control of psychosomatic and spirituality, based on mentally controlled systemic transpersonal decreasing of macro-quantum correlations of individual consciousness, when only mentally embedded address on founder of corresponding mystical traditions remain at the end of process of detachment, which was also presented on figure 6. In broader context, Tesla's overall research can be inspiration for rethinking of educational, informational, political goals, with reorientation towards holistic, gentle actions for global solutions to world-based society. So, science is closing the circle by rediscovering two modes of knowledge and its own epistemological limitations, as preserved for millennia in shamanistic tribal traditions, who considered the true reality is represented by lucid dreams and that waking state is illusion. Whereas, concisely described by Patanjali in Yoga Sutras more than 2 millennia ago, pointing out that mystical experience samadhi is filled with truth and without inference in scripture. or as formulated at the beginning of last century by Jack in philosophy of freedom, is difference of two modes of knowledge: prayer meditative, comprehension of affairs invisible, and rational mediative, comprehension of affairs visible. Then, aforementioned consensus on transpersonal esoteric concepts in different spiritual traditions demonstrates that acquired information in their transpersonal experience may give rise to non-distorting extrasensory perception of their mentally addressed out-of-body environment of collective consciousness in Tesla-like creative ways. Figure 6a. In contrast to mystical states of distorting collapse of intricate order, of quantum-entanglement states of individual and collective consciousness into particular explicate order of classical diffuse states of individual and collective consciousness, specific to corresponding mystical tradition. Figure 6b. Only related to controversy about post-mortem evolution of soul. Why there is difference on explanation of evolution of soul in different traditions. Still, efforts of mystics of all traditions to purify consciousness, soul, via spiritual practices, and thus to reach their final eschatological goal, kingdom of God, Nirvana, this post-mortem salvation of soul, non-bounding, sin-free, karmic-free, by reunion, religare, yoga, with God, might appear reason. Now I will present several slides in my publications. This is slide on Tesla's legacy for new millennium, path to quantum-holographic primal source. I recommend you strongly on this link. Here is no answer. With note 3, we also mentioned radiesthesia as well-known method of transpersonal detection of geopathogenic and tactical radiation, local, probably via electromagnetic induction within electromagnetic ionic exotic circulatory acupuncture system, thereby modulating non-threshold acupuncture currents with extremely weak external electromagnetic fields too, as well as non-local, probably via intentional quantum gravitational tunneling of operators individual consciousness, mentally addressed to part of collective consciousness of targets of radiesthetic detection in apparatus residual states of consciousness. In this context, we also mentioned non-local radiesthetic detection of so-called abstract radiations, like natural geometry forms, as well as human artifacts and symbols that might be related to them, mediating operators' interaction with corresponding archetypes at the level of collective consciousness. There are also interesting possible mechanisms of radiesthetic protection, so-called radiation neutralizers, which appear to work not by Faraday shielding of harmful electromagnetic fields, but by preventive harmonizing action on human acupuncture system exposed to harmful electromagnetic fields, such as homeopathic preparations or mentally encoded neutralizers made of crystalline or non-crystalline materials, as indicated by pilot research with biophotographic camera of control and experimental groups exposed to electromagnetic field of mobile phones without or with radiation neutralizers. Note 4. Readers interested in phenomenology of different altered states of consciousness, I also recommend book The Holographic Universe by Michael Talbot, with numerous well-documented mysterious phenomena in altered states of consciousness. In this book, published in 1991, just before author's premature death, Michael Talbot is relying on research of two famous scientists, quantum physicist David Bohm and physiologist Carl Friedman, to point out that the universe might be giant hologram, sort of mind concept and subject-object boundary, thus relativizing one question whether objective reality exists or fluctuates constantly between intricate connected elements. In this book, Michael Talbot, psychic himself, points out that numerous documented mysterious phenomena like synchronicity and lucid dreams and the multiple personalities, aura seeing and therapy and visualization, hypnotic and miracle experience, mystical religious experiences and out-of-body and near-death experiences, psychometry and precognition and extrasensory perception, and psychokinesis and materialization interpretation may be explained within still controversial holographic paradigm. Here is a slide with paper I warmly recommend on states of consciousness in esoteric practice by Peter Wilson. Here is aspect. You can find on this link the full page, which was published in our book, Consciousness Theory Challenge in the 21st Century. This paper is important because presents parallel two traditions. One is Hinduistic tradition, and the other is Christian tradition presented by famous pure disciples, Dastos. I find it very interesting for you. Here is my paper, subject, and you can find the whole paper. Quantum-holographic basis of psychosomatics and spirituality, contribution to comparative exploration of science and religion, which was presented on Interreligious Roundtable Religion, Science, Culture, contribution of world religion to science and culture in Belgrade. It should also be noted that healing effects on patients' acupuncture system and consciousness are often blocked by quantum-holographic encoded spiritual personal consent to disease as a form of self-punishment, as evidenced by subjects' experiences with post-hypnotic regressions. When prayers and self-loving for oneself and others are necessary with the aim of ending self-punishment, thus performing spiritual integration of personality, and its disentanglement of transpersonal energy blockages, which initiates process of permanent healing. Such spiritual indeterministic interventions, by introducing new vacuum excitations of vital energy in otherwise deterministic quantum-holographic evolution of collective consciousness, similar to spiritually excited and mentally channeled Ayurvedic, Qigong, Reiki, and modern experiences of local and transpersonal healings, thus non-Schrödinger imposing necessary essentially new boundary conditions, can permanently remove as net effect whole mutual conflict between two persons, which is also greatest source of freedom in optimizing life programs by spiritual principles. Very important. In particular, let us mention Hawaiian Ho'oponopono tradition with great reprogramming of life situations by contextual repentance and forgiveness to oneself, or South American ayahuasca tradition, or Nigerian Adik tradition with incredible spiritual diagnosis and extensions of predestined short life programs, or fascinating Anita Benjani bestseller and spiritual changes in her life programs by returning from clinical death and after weeks of continuous healing from terminal terminal phase of cancer. Our contemporary spiritual teaching of Bruno Benning, with incredible healing channel that remained open even after his death in optimization both individual and collective life process. Our traditional Christian Helicastic mysticism with miraculous healing and optimizing life process. All this significantly contributes to our understanding that even more severe psychosomatic disorders have their roots in energy information blockages, and that healing begins by removing them, first by loving oneself and accepting oneself and forgiving oneself, which is then manifested by loving others and accepting others. Spiritual disentangling, unleashing, repenting, forgiving prayer. This is a slide on quantum information, biomedicine, and quantum-informatics, relations shifting perspectives. Quantum entanglement, quantum interference, quantum teleportation, quantum cryptography, quantum computing, related to modern exploration of quantum information. Then quantum holographic neural networks, which I was talking about today. With all these findings, which I reported hereby. And quantum information biomedicine, with diagnostic and therapeutic methods of quantum information medicine, with three front lines of integrative psychosomatic medicine, collective consciousness, individual consciousness, body's energy, information system in the body. And part of this was explored on our symposium in 2011, by the way, Symposium of Quantum Information Medicine, acupuncture-based and consciousness-based holistic approaches and techniques. You may find proceedings that come from this. Topics which were explored there were local and non-local. Holistic medicine, local, holistic medicine and non-simple psychoenergy therapies for balancing acupuncture system and individual consciousness, like traditional acupuncture simulations, acupuncture moxibustion acupuncture, microresonance therapy, then bioresonance diagnostics and therapy, laser puncture, magnetotherapy, segmental reflex message, lithotherapy, chiropractic, homeopathy, chromatotherapy, aromatherapy, aeroionization, yoga breathing, meditation, autogenic training, and psychotherapy. In the second group, non-local, spirituality and circular psychoenergy therapies from all relevant meta positions for balancing individual and collective consciousness, like prayers, Ho'oponopono, transpersonal psychotherapies, family constellations, meridian therapies, Qigong, Reiki, reconnection, Theta, in shamanistic tradition. And finally, I will give also several recommended books on our symposium on quantum information medicine proceedings, and also on roundtable on this specific. They are available on the website. And this is our proceedings of first International Congress on Psychological Trauma, prenatal, perinatal, and postnatal aspects in Belgrade in 2015, edited by Gregory Mirjana Sovi, and myself. And this is a book, Prenatal Psychology, 100 years, a journey in decoding how our prenatal experiences shapes who we become, edited by John Turner, Laura Turner, and Olga Willis. And also, very interesting book. I find it very important, by Father John Breck, Beyond These Horizons, Quantum Theory in Christian Faith. We were helping him to issue this book also in Serbian language. And this is a very interesting book by Kyriakos Bakides on the Mountain of Silence, actually, for Christian author tradition. And this is a book on the spiritual way by Matthias Kamp and Bruno Greiner. Here, all the teachings of Bruno Greiner. Very interesting. I heartily recommend. And this is the book also by Kyriakos Bakides, Fire in the Heart. Maybe it was one of his first books on Daskal's teaching. It is marvelous. Also, this is a book on Ho'oponopono, Zero Limits, by John Italian Land and Climate System of Wealth, Health, Peace, and War. And this is a book of Carlos Castaneda, famous book, A Separate Reality, which describes many of these personal facts. Also, the famous book of Dying to Be Lived, I was and famous book of by Louis Hay, You Can Kill Your Life. Also, famous book by Michael Newton, Journey of Souls, Case Studies of Life Between Lives, and hypno regressions, a lot of his patients. And something related to this book is the book of by Mia Kelly, Beyond Past Life. I recommend both of these books. Book Life After Life, classical books. Book by Raymond Moody in 1970. So, and also a very important book by Luce Eliade, his guide from Europe. And also classical books, Tibetan books, right? A very important book, The Soul After Death, by Rapid Notes. Actually, these are books about events the soul is seeing after its disembodied. Here is the front page of Nature, the Nature Family Journal. The dawn of quantum biology. Actually, quantum biology became now a very important part of science since 86 or 7 discovery quantum effects in photosynthesis. Also, I recommend this book as probably very important, on Quantum Brain Dynamics and Consciousness by Japanese scientists. Here is a book by Pyotr Goryaev, Linguistic Genome in Russian. I think he has also some publications in English. And this is also important book by Professor Pop from Germany and in biophoto research. Also, I recommend the book by Robert John and Brenda Brown, Consciousness and the Source of Reality, the Fair and the Safe. Their investigations in principle. transpersonal interactions. And also a very important book on entangled minds by Dean Rabin, on extrasensory experiences in a quantum reality. Experimental document. Here is now classical textbook of quantum computation and quantum information. Quantum information became very important field this year. It was given essentially Nobel Prize for exploration in quantum information and also foundations in quantum mechanics. Essentially, this is related with quantum technologies. Quantum technologies which were presented here in the book by John Weaver. And final comment. Our quantum-holographic quantum gravitation theoretical framework of consciousness and psychosomatics is in line with increased scientific interest in consciousness in past decades, which anticipates great synthesis of two modes of knowledge: rational scientific, classical religious, in moral states of consciousness, and creative religious, quantum entanglement, information, and altered states of consciousness. Thus, the role of every individual might become irreplaceable due to influence and care for collective mental environment, leaving more space for free will. This would point to full significance of holistic education and behavior, demonstrating necessity for redefining global educational, informational, and political goals, with reorientation towards holistic interactions for solutions of global risks concern. The central role in this process could be played by all religious communities in transpersonal spiritual practices, cultivating true spiritual, moral, and absolute interpersonal, interactive, and interreligious tolerance, with measurement of individual behavior from perspective of death. By this, the amount of generated and non-reprogrammed psychosomatic conflicts until death, which determines spiritual evolution of soul of DC, as well as preferences of individual and of collective future descendants, that can be significantly altered only via collective prayer for our neighbors and enemies, and thus global reprogramming of collective action. And here is the list of better society. Finally, be well and thank you for your attention.